Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Steve.
I'm Lindsay.
Today we're going to be reacting to vintage UK public information films. I believe these would also be known as PSAs or public service announcements. At least I think that's what this compilation is going to be. We actually did a reaction about, 2 or 3 weeks ago about the most effective British adverts. And I would have personally called those PSAs probably.
Yeah,
but I think they were not on TV during the middle of the day, from what I understand. Those were more late night adverts.
Yeah, they were pretty intense.
Yeah, they were very intense. So I don't know if we're going to see really intense PSAs here, or if these are going to be more mild things you would see during the day when
like
kids
all age
would see,
appropriate.
Right, all age appropriate or whatnot. So you got anything you want to add before we get started?
No, let's do it.
All right, let's go ahead and dive in here and check out vintage UK public information films.
Go on, John!
Do you know where your lad's going tonight?
That's like the do
you know where your kids are?
Yeah, every night at 10 p.m. I believe it was 10 p.m.
Yeah.
There was right after the news. There would
like a reminder.
A little reminder would come on TV and say it's 10 p.m. or no, I think it was 9.
Something like that.
It's 9 p.m. Do you know where your kids are?
Which is kind of sad if we have to have a reminder on TV to tell us to remember our kids.
Yeah, at nighttime.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Go on, get it. We're not supposed to go in there. Oh, go on. There's a gap down there. A gang of kids broke in yesterday. I saw them.
Oh no.
Pass me that bit of wood.
I don't like this.
Okay, so these were on during the day, I'm guessing, because this is obviously
Oh gosh.
for kids.
I'm like getting chilled.
No.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Thank you.
A 66,000-volt shock killed a boy today when he broke into a substation. The electricity board warns children to keep away from substations. Never try to get toys back yourself. Otherwise, you may not live to play with them again.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that last part would have been really scary for young kids. Yeah. Wow. But it would have done the job, I think. I think it would have done the job.
Horses are easily panicked. Slow down and steer well clear when passing them.
That's interesting. I've never seen an ad to warn. Do you guys have a lot of horse riders on the road in the UK?
They must, and they probably did even more back in, that was like the 70s.
70s or 80s?
Yeah, I think the previous one might have been the 80s. I think this one might have been the 70s. I don't know.
Learn to swim.
Breaststroke, backstroke, butterfly and crawl, dog paddle, belly flop, you can do them all. Learn to swim. Diving from the highest board or dabbling your toe tips, all together in a row or polishing your back flips. Do it in the council pool or where the millionaires go. Learn to swim. The lip is like a fountain splash, Granny takes it easy. Henry wants to cut a dash on a surfboard when it's breezy.
Oh my gosh.
Like the best, do it in your pants and vest. Learn to swim.
That is so catchy.
It is. I'm going to be singing it.
It's getting stuck in my head.
Belly flop, you can do them all.
You can do them
Learn
all.
to swim. Learn to swim.
Wow.
Okay, thank you. That's going to be in my head for the next few hours.
If you imagine this is your car, then this is a motorcycle. It's easy to see other cars, but because a motorcycle is a third of the width of a car, it's very hard to see, but it's dead easy to hurt. And that's why, at junctions, I'm asking you to give a second thought for bikes. Stop, think once for cars, then think again for bikes. If you want to avoid think once, think twice, think bike.
Wow.
Wow.
I could see that being really effective. Like if you saw that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, just once is pretty impactful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
What's she always on about?
Safeway.
Oh, I don't know. Said to her last week, I said, you know, you worry too much about Stephen. He's leaving school next year, that'll soon sort him out.
Yeah, well, that's her lookout, isn't it? Should have been stricter with him at the right time.
Yeah, well, you're too strict, you are.
I'm not strict, I'm fair. Not our Kevin in the arm, is it?
Yeah, you can't hold kids back, though.
I'm not saying hold him back. Discipline.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
discipline.
Well, I still say you got to draw a line.
Anyway, where is Kevin this afternoon?
Oh, I don't know. I think he said he was going round to see Stephen.
Yeah, that's another thing I don't like either. Them playing together. There's enough kids round with a rout the weekend.
Jim!
If your child was killed or badly injured in a firework accident like this, you'd probably blame the parents of the other children. But your children are your responsibility. Make sure yours aren't meddling with fireworks this bonfire night.
Wow, bonfire night.
A grain pit looks like a sandpit to a child.
Oh my
Oh, yeah. Though that is like quicksand.
Yeah,
within
sucks
there.
you in.
If you're still, you probably won't go much anywhere. But if you start moving, you're
Which,
gonna.
I mean,
you're
especially as a
panicked.
kid, you'd freak out. I would probably freak out.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. And then the more you panic, the more you're gonna sink.
oh my gosh.
It looks like somewhere nice to play, but it's not. It's like quicksand, or it's a way to drown without water. It will suck a child down before you can save it. So keep the children away and put a grid on it.
Oh my goodness, dude.
Worn treads on your tyres are dangerous, and any bald patches are illegal. So check your tyres regularly. The tread should be at least 1 millimetre deep, the same as the dots round the edge of a 10p piece. If your tyres don't pass the 10p test, and you have to make a sudden stop in the wet, you're gambling with lives.
Oh.
Will your tyres pass the 10p test?
That's a good PSA right there, because it's
Short,
not
simple.
It's one you could put, it's not so graphic. You could put that one on during the day,
Right.
and it's very important to check your tire, depth.
And it's actionable. It gives someone an
Right.
easy way to check.
Hey, everybody has the 10p in their pocket. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's a great one right there.
Because Frances was still a very young firefly, her tail wouldn't glow like those of the grown-ups, and this made her feel very sad. I can give you a glowing light, said Cocky Roach. Frances knew that Cocky was a very naughty young cockroach, but she couldn't resist. They lit a match from a box that Cocky had taken from his mummy's kitchen without her knowing. Frances knew she was doing wrong, but Cocky had her under his spell. Grasping the match, Frances took to the sky. Oh, what fun, Cocky chuckled. The flame grew larger until it reached her wings and burnt her. In pain, she let the match drop to the ground. Soon the whole of the kingdom was burning.
Oh my
The following
gosh.
day,
Wow.
King Chrysalis said, "We'll have to build everything again." Frances realized how foolish she'd been. In time, she got better and helped rebuild the kingdom, but she never forgot the words of her king. "Remember," he said, "never play with matches." And Cocky Roach never dared show his face again. Remember, never play with matches.
I love that.
I love that one
it
too.
because it draws a kid into the message
Mhm.
without being super graphic or
Yes.
but it gets the message across.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's beautiful, man. That's great. We need more things like that today,
Children, always so trusting, happy, unafraid. What a pity to have to remind them about the darker side of life. Danger from going with strangers, especially strangers in cars, enticing children to get in with plausible stories.
Would you like to get in my car? Mummy sent me to fetch you.
You naughty, naughty, naughty man, I don't believe you. Take that, and that, and that.
Now then. Always remind your children about the danger from strangers, but do it in such a way as you don't frighten them. And make sure you always know where they are.
That's the way to do it.
What do you think? Is that a good one? Like for kids?
I think so, but I think nowadays we realize more that it's not strangers
I think that
that are
too.
the problem.
Yeah.
Not as I mean there are, but
Yeah.
like I think it's like 80 or 90% of cases where things like that happen to children.
The family knows the person.
People you know.
Yeah.
So I do think it's good for certain scenarios, but I think we also need to talk about.
Well, yeah, of course, but I think that kids also need to know not to go with strangers.
Yeah,
and like I don't see any of this type of thing anymore. Like I remember as a kid, we saw there were some not like it seems like there was a ton in the UK, but like we would see some every once in a while, some PSAs here or there, but like I'd never see them. Is that
granted? We don't have cable TV,
right? But I've never, like, even when I've been at someone's house that does have cable TV, I've never seen a PSA come on like in years and years. Do they even have these anymore? Do you guys have these in the UK anymore? I don't know. I'd love to know. I'd love to see what modern PSAs look like. Maybe I have seen a PSA here or there and I don't realize it was a PSA or something, but I can't think of any modern ones.
Roadworks on the motorway may sometimes occupy an entire carriageway. Where this happens, you may find yourself diverted through the central reserve and driving for a time in two-way traffic. This is not something you want to come upon unexpectedly. So, from some distance ahead, the signs prepare you for the diversion. Distinctive yellow signs to organise you into lanes at a reasonable speed. As you get nearer to the diversion point, you should further reduce speed for crossing into the other carriageway and driving safely in the two-way traffic. So, where there are roadworks ahead, let the signs guide you through until it's safe to go back to normal motorway driving.
That's interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen a PSA about construction work or like how to drive certain situations like that.
I think that's a good one too, like, because it's just like one you could throw on any time as a commercial in between TV shows, and it's just, again, it's a good reminder. Construction workers are doing their thing. Be safe in these areas, not only for the construction workers, but also yourself and others when you're going in the two-way traffic there. And just, I think things like that, a lot of people don't even think about things like that anymore because we don't see PSAs like that. And, and you don't really think about it until you're finally in a construction zone like that. And you may have not been in one for a very long time. But something I find interesting here, it's just really interesting to look at the color choices.
Yeah.
From then to what these color choices will look like now. The color choices that they would use today would look completely different.
Yeah.
The music, the sounds, everything would be completely different.
To that
time period. Yeah. That's just so interesting how time changes everything about what is appealing to the eyes and the ears and what's effective to everybody's brain at any given moment. And what was effective at one point isn't always going to be effective at another point.
Right, it's outdated.
Right. Although some of these would be effective, but it's definitely you would need to change it up somewhat for modern times. Just find that fascinating.
If you separate, get leaflet FB3 from a Social Security office or PO Box 21, Stanmore, Middlesex.
Oh, okay, just some information.
Gas is the most popular fuel in British homes. It's clean, controllable and economical. But like any fuel, it must be used carefully. So if you smell gas, at home, at work or in the street, don't leave it to someone else. Call the gas people. We're in the phone book under gas. And we're on call 24 hours a day, every day. So remember, if you smell gas, call the gas people.
The gas people. That's interesting. Is that? I'm guessing that's not what they were called. I'm guessing they weren't called the gas people, were they? But I remember something similar growing up. I remember they used to have these like for carbon monoxide poisoning. They'd have like the get your carbon monoxide detector, and I always remember that on like Saturday mornings, like during the middle of like cartoons or something.
Yeah.
I don't know why that sticks in my head, but the fact that sticks in my head shows me that PSA was effective to me because it makes me think of it so many years later. I love these. I love the fact that you said, why don't we do these anymore? Granted, nobody watches cable anymore, really, at least here in the U.S. I guess that's the reason. But
But you would think on streaming services you would have.
Right. Why do we not see these on, like, everybody watches streaming service now, like Hulu and Netflix and all these. Why don't they have PSAs during these streaming services?
Probably about what's going to make them the most money, and if you can't afford to.
I mean, I guess, but the government obviously was paying for these at one point.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't the government want to do these again and promote this type of stuff? Because I think this, I mean, I would rather see things like this than another drug commercial. Really? Come on. At least something valuable, right? Is this about littering?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember the littering commercials?
Okay, let's look at that
Kind of.
Now, why did you let her do that?
I've just about had enough of clearing up after that little madam.
Wait, what?
Dunno.
She had a little maggot?
Mess anyway.
What? So,
Every time my son borrows the car, it comes back stinking like a filthy ashtray.
It's all right. Dad said it gives people jobs.
Yeah, dog. Can't do any harm. I put it out of the way.
Everyone's got an excuse. What's yours?
gosh.
Okay, that one went a little dark quickly.
Yeah, that was escalated.
So I'm curious, guys, do you guys get like fines if you litter in the UK? It's something I've never learned about. We do, like if someone throws something out in a car and they get caught doing it. I don't know what the fine is. I don't litter.
There's
so I don't
fines
know.
along like the highway and the interstate.
Does it say the fees? Like
it
the fine,
does.
like
Yeah,
a $200 fine?
It depends on where it's at, but it's differing amounts, like up to $1,000, up to $2,000. Yeah.
Yeah, I personally don't litter.
No.
I think it's kind of just hold it till you get to a trash can. Like, I'll never understand why.
But I feel like it's, a thing that like once you are taught better, you do better. And so
true.
Maybe these PSAs were
maybe they worked. Let us know. Were they effective? I don't know. But I mean, it's so. I always hated it when you go to an area of like nature and then you just see trash everywhere, and it's just like, why there's a trash can like 50 feet that way.
That's the worst. Like
that
there's
is
literally
the
a trash
worst.
can, like, right there.
The worst. Yeah.
If you're driving this Christmas, watch what you're drinking, or you might just live to regret it. So, stay low.
Oh wow, that one's effective.
And quick.
Matthew!
Oh gosh. Oh my god.
Really?
I bet we're going in a bit of a rush.
Hey, look both ways. Oh
my
wow.
goodness. Come on.
Wow.
Ugh, that gave me chills.
Wow. That one is effective because I like the way how it actually taught. Like, it didn't just show what happened. It actually taught something specific. This speed is what possibly will happen. This speed shows you how much worse it is, and this speed shows you how much. This 10 miles per hour increments really makes you think. That's a great one.
And especially for kids.
I definitely appreciate the way they set that one up with the knowledge they gave.
Mm-hmm.
That is very unique because the PSAs I've seen in the past, usually you don't get that specific knowledge dropped on you like that. And I kind of appreciate that.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Is this another littering one?
It looks like it.
Oh my gosh, I love the music.
Don't drop her. Drop it in the bin.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
I love that one.
Yeah, I think that was definitely a very
I love the sound.
yeah, what was that 80s, do you think?
That either had to be, I want to say that was actually early 90s.
You
maybe.
think?
Late 80s, early 90s, I'm guessing. It just by the dress of the kid and stuff, it looked kind of like that.
Yeah, that would have been effective.
Yeah, that would have definitely been effective. That was a fun
It
one.
was
I really
very in, like, what would you say? Like,
the culture at the time?
very on point with
what the culture would be with the
yeah.
music and everything.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do. I see what you're saying there.
If you're watching television,
Oh gosh.
you're looking at a £400 fine. Don't break the law. Get a license.
That's horrible.
Oh, wow. Guys. This was a really good collection of...
Yeah, I like how diverse it was.
Right. It was. Some of them were a little humorous.
Mm-hmm.
Others were...
Very dark.
Very dark. and then yet everything in between about every issue you could imagine. So this is obviously volume 1 of this compilation here.
Yeah, I see that now.
It makes me wonder, like, okay, so most of these are probably 70s and 80s, I'm guessing.
Mhm.
I don't know if there was any maybe late 60s, maybe a couple of them. I think they were most 70s and 80s. I mean, like, look at the dress and everything here. I don't think there was any like in the mid or late 90s at all. They were all before that. But I'm really curious, like, growing up, anybody from that era of 70s and 80s, like, how often did you see these types of PSAs coming on TV? Like, if you were watching like you were watching afternoon TV, and you were sitting there for an hour or hour and a half or something like that, watching TV. How many PSAs would you actually see a PSA every time you watched a TV show for like an hour? Would you always see a PSA? Because it seems like there's a lot of them.
And which ones stuck with you the most?
Right. Do you have some
what ones do you still think about?
that even as an adult that still pop in your head? Kind of like the carbon monoxide detector one that I remember, and a few other ones that I have in my head from growing up. I saw a littering one when I was a kid. Remember that? I honestly don't remember like crazy amounts of PSAs. There was just some that just sticks in my head. I'm sure I saw more than I can remember.
Yeah.
But I just have a feeling that in the UK they had more than we had here. I just had that feeling.
So, yeah.
I think PSAs were it seems like PSAs were a very big, it was a way that they looked, this is a way we're going to, remind the public of certain important issues. And I don't feel like we got that as much here. I would love to see more PSAs in modern time.
Yeah.
It's obviously not going to be the same because we don't do cable TV anymore like the way we do. I know some people have cable TV, but
I feel like I see a lot of billboard PSAs.
Right, I do know what you're talking about. Yeah,
for vaping or
right. Yeah, vaping's a big one. That's true.
Up or car seat safety.
Yeah, you do see. I see the car seat and especially
but
the vaping
it's usually
ones.
just billboards that I see.
Yeah. And I think they need to really consider bringing these on to streaming platforms, like Hulu,
Instead
Netflix,
of all
so forth.
Commercial drugs.
Get rid of the prescription drugs here in the U.S. That's all it would take. Replace prescription drug commercials with PSAs, and everybody's happier and healthier and better off.
Yeah, I agree.
But they'll never do that because there's too much money in prescription drugs here. And that's a conversation for another video because that's something that drives me crazy.
Yeah.
I can't stand those commercials. Yet we have to see them constantly.
Yep.
And like every 3 commercials we see seems like
At least.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. If you need a prescription drug for something, you've probably gone to the doctors and you've talked to a doctor about some sort of issue you have, and then they're like, okay, well this might help you, whatever, right? Who in the world is sitting there at home in the U.S. and like that's what I need.
I need to take notes on this and take it to the doctor.
Who does?
I mean, maybe, but
I don't know.
I don't think it's worth it.
Anyway, I'm sure you can tell that drives me crazy. And I just, why not putting something more valuable on for everybody, like something like PSA like this? But I can tell, before we go, guys, I just want to say I can tell not just off these PSAs, but seeing the adverts I've seen so far, the compilations I've seen, and Lindsay saw one compilation so far, but all the adverts I've seen, the PSAs I've seen, I can just tell that you guys in the UK put in a lot of effort and time and money developing the PSAs really and adverts. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. They're very good. They're very good at convincing you of something and if it's adverts, they're very good at getting you to want something. Guys, let us know in the comments what we should check out next when it comes to PSAs or adverts or anything similar to this. Doesn't matter if comedy or just whatever. I just like looking at these. For many reasons. One, it gives me insight on the culture in general. In this case, you can see little bits and pieces of what British culture was like going back a few decades ago with the clothing and different things. Yeah. And I can definitely see similarities to the U.S., but I also see differences. But also, it's just interesting seeing, what was it of importance to the culture at any given time. Yeah. And I think that's something you see with adverts and more specifically with PSAs.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
But you got anything you want to add before we go? All right, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments or suggestions about this video or others. And don't forget to subscribe to continue to follow us on our journey to discover all things UK and Ireland. Till next time, guys, peace.
Bye.